Whenever there is a battle, a contest, an enemy territory rises up against Israel. And when Israel is almost defeated, once they carry the ark, the enemies are in trouble. Because it's as though God has taken over the battle. So the ark of God was the concentrated bodily presence of God. And this ark, it has been so from time immemorial. The ark of God was referenced. The ark of God was worshipped. In the book of Numbers, it was initiated that this is the ark of God and the priest shall bear the ark. So over time, Israel began to relapse because they felt God was always around. Israel would do whatever they wanted to do around and outside the ark because in their consciousness, God was only in the ark. So if you must not mess up, don't mess up around the ark because God was there. If you are far away, you can do what you want to do because they felt God wasn't there, which is almost a typology of what happens. People can do things outside the church. When they come to the church, everybody is brother this and sister this. But outside the church, we can do anything. That's the mentality a lot of people have. So the ark of God was referenced. It was the duty of the priest to minister to the ark, but the duty of the Levites to carry the ark. That was their assignment. The priest have to minister before the ark. The Levites will have to carry the ark in those days. But there was a generation, the days of Samuel. Samuel was a prophet of God who practically was lent and given to the Lord by the mother Hannah. And Samuel's duty was to make sure he takes care of the temple. Eli had gotten old. His eyes were dim. He couldn't see clearly. The sons of Eli, Ophni and Phinehas, who were now resident priests in the temple. Whenever the sacrifice is brought, this is how the sacrifice in those days was. When you bring an animal, it's the duty of the priest to extract the fat. You know fat? The oil from the animal, because God will not take that. They will extract the fat and give the flesh and drop it on the altar and give it to the Lord. They extract the fat. But Ophni and Phinehas, when the people bring the animals, they wait for them by the door. They collect the animals, extract the fat, give God the fat, and they take the flesh. So God lost and they gained. There are many people today, when God lifts them, that's what happened. God gives them money. God gives them connection. God gives them beauty. God gives them intelligence. But rather than using that for God, they use what God gave them for him, they use it for the devil. That is why people who God has given a good voice, God has given capacity to write songs and lyrics, you see them leave the church, they go to the world. The talent God has given them. So God lost and they gained. So a prophetic word came. God needed to speak because the word of God was so scarce in those days. Nobody was communicating the counsel of God. And because the word of God was scarce, there was no open vision. There was no revelation. There was no gift of the Spirit, as it were. So it means that you cannot manifest the gift of the Spirit outside the word of the Lord. When you are bankrupt of the gift of the word, you'll be bankrupt of the gift. You can't claim to be buoyant of the gift of God when you are bankrupt of the word of God. So whenever we see a person who is manifesting the gift of God, we must first of all look for the word of God in his mouth. So the word of God was scarce in those days and there was no open vision. Anywhere the word of God is being communicated, visions are exposed. Visions are unveiled. Anytime the word of God is communicated, the gift of God is released. So people can get the gift of God, not just by the laying on of hands, but by the laying on of words.